Today is April 22nd, 2014. Happy Earth Day, everybody. Happy Earth Day. So go out and plant a tree, right?
It's Arbor Day.
Oh, yeah. Arbor Day. It's not as funny this time. It's funnier when we said it and it was more real.
They didn't hear it first time.
Oh, shit.
But we do have all our interns riding 10 speeds powering this podcast today.
Anyway, this is I Think You Think, and we're a podcast that I don't normally read that part. So this is I Think You Think. We're your hosts. I'm Justin. Way over there is
James.
And this is
Sequoia.
You can see the names underneath all of us.
If he remembered.
If I remembered. And if you're watching the vidcast, because it does not show up on the podcast. Podcast is the right word, yes.
I really hope that you did, otherwise I just did that whole Vanna White thing for nothing.
Yeah. That would be...
I've done that before.
Just to have...
There was like one part where I went like this, where you were supposed to put a photo, and then you didn't put anything there, and I was watching the vidcast, and I was like, I look like an idiot.
It's all in her head. We carry no credentials, as you can tell, and listen. We're a weekly topical podcast, and we focus on what we think. We focus on what you think, so feel free to contact us. You can check out our website, ithinkyoutthink.com. That will give you all the links to our Facebook page and our YouTube and where our podcast's on Libsyn and everything like that. We are it's also in the underbar of the video if you're watching the vidcast. I Think You Think it's produced by StolenArts Productions, and I'd like to get into the habit of getting through some of the housekeeping at the start of most of the shows so that everybody knows. So first of all, a week or so ago, I actually went to a volunteer event to kind of talk to people and get some opportunities for like I Think You Think, and that was called Volunteerapalooza in Elgin, Illinois. And so thank you to all of those who I met. If you're listening, I hope you enjoy the show and check out some of our old stuff, and hopefully we can work together. So there you go. We have a guest in 2 weeks. Her name is Lori. She blogs over at Still Standing, and so we'll be talking about her story, and we have some questions for her. We're pretty tame, so it shouldn't be that bad. It should be a lot of fun, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. She seems really excited. And so check out that show. That'll be 2 weeks. That'll be our first show in May, because next week is the world famous I Drink, You Drink.
Yes,
I Drink, You Drink 5. It's our fifth.
Wow, we're really at 5 already?
one. Yeah, 5.
Wow.
Well, we're at like 70 something for the shows. So
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So when we get to 100, we ought to do something big and special. And,
yeah.
You know, like a cake or something. You can make it, right? No. Okay. Never mind.
I mean, I can.
Actually, of all of us, she is the only one who can actually bake.
Yeah, and I also can decorate cakes.
I can follow directions, but it would probably turn out really badly. But anyway, so that's next week. Alex and the Anders is the music that you hear at the beginning of the show. So thank you, Tom. And I think that I talked to Tom the other day, and he gave me all the names, but I don't have them written down. But I don't know if you saw the vidcast last time. I just made up names for them and put it on the picture of them.
God.
Just, you know.
I'm sure they love that.
I'm sure they did. So I'll get the right names on there this next time. StravaMax.com also for jewelry. Check it out. Pictures should show up if you're watching the vidcast. And make sure you can help out by liking and sharing this podcast with your friends on Facebook and such. Let them know about us. Let them know about the podcast and the vidcast, and favorite it and like it and thumbs up and all those types of things that you do on the social media. We are talking about 2 games. We are giving some reviews.
Actually, that's our time.
That's it. Actually, we have used up all of our time.
Podcast.
I'm sorry. Thanks. We will see you next week for the
I feel like we make this joke every week.
Yeah.
We're changing the name to I Thank You Think.
There you go.
I think, and you think.
I think that's a good move for us, actually.
It is. 2 games we are talking about this week, and Sunday was Easter, so if we have time, we might talk a little bit about Easter. So we are going back to a game that James played, that I played, and that now you have played.
Yes.
Since you got the Xbox 360, you played BioShock Infinite, so we are going to hear Sequoia's review on it. And I'm going to tell you, it's been out for a while. I know you haven't actually beaten it, but there will be spoilers. So I feel like we can talk about the spoilers. I think the game has been out for long enough. If you haven't, like, we will give you like a little warning before.
That warning is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. Like, do you care if there's spoilers? Like, do you know how it ends?
We're sitting on my couch, so I guess no.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
no.
leave the room if you
No,
wanted to,
I'm not going to go back and beat it.
Okay, because I was gonna say,
I
like,
wasn't that invested in the game.
If it was like really important to you, because the end is a big deal.
Yeah,
so
no,
I didn't want to ruin it for you.
We'll get into it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just so you know, there is spoilers in this about BioShock Infinite if you actually care at this point. I mean, the game's been out for what, a year, or so, if not more.
I was reading something about Jane Eyre the other day, and somebody was like, "Dude, spoilers!" And they were like, "Literally,
yeah."
spoilers on Jane Eyre."
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, so what? Not so what to her comments. So what to? So what?
I felt like that was very personal.
Yeah. And I'm going to be talking about Ryse, Son of Rome, on the Xbox One. It is Xbox One exclusive title, so it isn't on anything else. Where do we want to start? Let's start with yours, BioShock Infinite.
Well, we should talk about what we've been doing. What's been eating up our lives? We always start that way.
Sorry. So it's I think, you think, and what have we been doing? What has been going on in everyone's lives?
I've been working, bought a new laptop, love it, playing a little Elder Scrolls Online, not enough to review it yet. Really enjoying Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
So good. And the NBA playoffs. I'm a huge basketball fan, especially the Bulls, and I love this time of year.
Yeah,
That's
and
me.
he's kicking us out, like, so he can watch the NBA playoffs.
Well, you guys can stay and watch it. We're just not doing anything else.
Maybe I'll play Elder Scrolls.
That's fine. Just keep it down over there.
What about you? What do you got going on in your life?
Well, I just finished Bones, and I started watching The Borgias, which is really interesting. It's on Netflix. It's why that's like a very judgmental.
No, it sounds like
No, I had the judgmental look.
Why?
I don't know. Never seen it.
I was thinking because when you said it, it sounds like the word bourgeois.
No, it's
and
Borgias.
so I thought
Yeah.
maybe you were just pronouncing the word bourgeois incorrectly, and it was a show I just
would
hadn't heard about.
Never
and I was like, wow,
pronounce
okay.
bourgeois incorrectly.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Because it looks like bourgeois or whatever it looks like.
No, it's it's sort of satisfying some of my Game of Thrones, you know, like betrayal and, you know, do you serve the realm, like all that kind of stuff. But like, there's really, I don't really have Game of Thrones to watch, so it's sort of satisfying.
Are there dragons?
No.
Okay, conversation over.
But it's, you know, beardy men and, you know, armor.
Speaking of beards, does
No,
James
no,
have one or
yeah.
not?
That's
don't
the
know.
question.
The eternal question.
You will have to check out the vidcast.
For anybody who, like, for some reason can't access our vidcast, is probably like, does he have a beard?
Just
I
tell
don't
me.
get YouTube in my country.
But yeah, and then I had like a horrendous school week where like all the stuff was due all at the same time, and work's been crazy. I've been working my butt off, so yeah.
I've bought a bunch of new games for my computer. I was telling James the other day about I've been wanting to build a new gaming computer. Well, no, actually I wanted to get one, and people have talked me into trying to build one, which I've never done before, so I'm really nervous about that. But I had gone through and I found this great website. I think it's PC Parts or something .com, but basically it's a great website because it the stuff you choose, it says whether or not it's compatible, and it only shows stuff that's compatible with the motherboards and the processors, which is I was mostly nervous about that.
Right.
And so my first build was like an $1,800, $1,900, almost $2,000 computer. Now I've scaled it back to a little bit more manageable. So, Prison Architect is another game that I just got on Steam. Pretty cool. I might actually do like a little video series through StolenArts for that. Just if people are interested, it's kind of cool. So I figured I'd show it off, and you could watch me play video games and talk to myself. Because, you know, who doesn't want to do that, really?
We're kind of forced into it, so if somebody wants to take some of the burden, that'd be great.
Moving on. BioShock Infinite. the oldest game, so let's go with
Okay.
that one. Do you want to start off? then?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say I loved it. I like honestly having played it now, I would have been totally fine if I had bought it at the full $60 because
Oh, yeah?
I think I got it for like $20. But I loved it. I already like loved BioShock 1 and 2. Like I was already like a huge fan of the franchise. I loved the gameplay of it. I loved the storyline. I loved the sort of like the creepiness. I liked the just 100% 10 out of 10 for me on the first one. The second was like more like a 9 out of 10. But
Yeah.
like even like the plot twist, like everything I thought was great. So this one I had like a lot to live up to, and I knew that they were changing the world, and I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that I feel like a lot of times with franchises they just keep it in the same world and they don't really expand upon it, and it doesn't really grow as a game, with each one that they put out. And I feel like this one really grew as a game. There was some really great scenes in there. The gameplay got really mixed up with a lot of different things. I loved all the weaponry. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not usually a first-person shooter kind of girl, but I really enjoy it with this game. And I thought that the like plot twist at the end was just fantastic.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a little bit, because there's a plot twist in the first one, which was the would you kindly?
Yes.
Which is the did you play? Okay, so throughout the game, the guy who's talking to you on the radio, who turns out to be the bad guy, would ask you to do stuff, and he'd say, "Would you kindly do this?" And it was just matter of fact.
You're like trying to save him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the plot twist was that you had been subconsciously directed earlier in your life that would you kindly would automatically make you do these things. And so then at the end, when it's like, I forced you to do all of these things, and it's this fight against that would you kindly, and that and so this one also had a little bit of a plot twist. I don't remember there being much of a plot twist in the second one.
No.
Aside from the fact that the big sister wasn't quite the bad guy that you thought that the big sister was.
Really
It was more actiony though, wasn't it? The
It was.
reviews I
Yeah.
read, it was like it kind of stepped away from the deep storyline of the first one.
Yeah.
There were still creepy elements to it, but the first one was was intended to be creepy throughout.
I remember the first one, there was like the scene where she was like going into where you're going to like a plastic surgeon's room or something, and you just hear like somebody screaming, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go into that room. I really it took me a second to make the push to actually go in there, because I was like, this is really freaking me out.
We ought to do a game where you play those really freaky games. That I think that would be a lot of fun, to just watch you play one of those really
Wait,
creepy
why?
Because it would be hilarious. I hate those games because they scare me.
I would actually be down for it, because I'll do it, I'll go in the room, but I always have a second where I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. So what about the actual gameplay for BioShock Infinite?
No, I liked it a lot. Some of the stuff with the when you glide on the rails,
Mhm.
I found that a little annoying in some ways, because I was kind of like, where the F am I going?
Yeah.
What the F is this? What the F is that? What is going on right now? I couldn't, that kind of was a little frustrating. But other than that, I thought it was fine. I really, really liked the gameplay. I ended up using the same 3 weapons throughout the whole game.
Yeah. What did you like?
I used I started out with the machine gun and the sniper rifle, and I ended up with the machine gun as my secondary and the carbine as my main.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the 2. And then I had the shotgun and the sniper rifle that I sort of switch off if I had to, but the carbine was my absolute favorite gun. In that
The carbine was the rifle, right?
Yeah.
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 I think
So-
I used that one a lot too.
Yeah.
Just
pound for pound, it was the
I'm trying to
best.
remember what power I used a lot. I know that
Murder of Crows.
Really?
Oh.
I hated Murder of
No,
Crows.
I loved it, because you'd hit him with Murder of Crows, and then you'd combine it with Devil's Kiss, and it light the crows on fire, and then they would just run around screaming on fire. It was awesome.
I think I did the one where I'd take over people and robots a lot.
Oh, the possession?
The possession
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I did that one all the time.
Yeah. Did you get that far? Do you know what you were using?
I don't remember what I used the most, but I remember having both of those powers.
Yeah.
And I would switch it up a lot. I
Yeah.
would, it's very situational.
Yeah.
You know, very, very much so.
I never used the one where you like lift people up because I didn't really see the point.
Yeah.
It just seemed like there's no point to it.
I know what you're talking about with like the rails. There were basically the game is set up, and a lot of games do this anymore, where you have a line of direction that you go to, and then it opens up into a space that you are going to have an event, some sort of an event where you're going to fight a lot of people or something. A lot of first-person shooters, that's kind of what they use. That's this, you know, you walk through this corridor and then you go into this room and do this thing.
Yeah.
And so there were those rails everywhere, and the area you would fight in was relatively big, but there would be so much going on half the time. I'd just jump onto the rail just so I could get like my bearings on what in the hell was going on.
My only complaint about the gameplay, I would say, like major complaint, was that I don't know if you guys ran into this at all, but if you know how like if you had enemies coming at you, you couldn't do certain actions. My complaint was that I felt like because if there was like one enemy left, but you hadn't found him yet, he wouldn't come to you. So like you couldn't move on to another area, or you couldn't like have Elizabeth like open lockpicks and stuff like that. But you had to go find the enemy. And sometimes he would be in like some random ass corner that you hadn't even like known was there. And that was kind of, because sometimes I'd be like,
like where the hell is he?
Yeah. But like the music's still going, like you have an enemy and you can hear him shouting and you're like, I can't find you. Like, shouldn't you be coming to me at this point?
Yeah. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe you should just shut up and go hide somewhere. All of your friends are dead.
As long as I can like get this chick to lockpick this, that's all I care about right now.
What did you think about the having that secondary character?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, cause you don't like I've played with secondary characters before, and I really hate when you have to like protect them. Like, I don't know, like, you know, you have to like protect them and make sure like in the Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 4, I think it was, where you had the daughter that you had to take care of.
The little girl.
Yeah, and like she would get kidnapped if you didn't watch her enough, or if you didn't tell her to go hide, and that's always a pain in the butt.
Who I think in later games, the ones that have more recently come out, she's actually grown up and is one of the main characters now.
That's cool.
I think her name is Anna. I don't remember, and don't quote me on it.
But no, I liked it. I liked the secondary character was fine. She was really useful. Yeah. And she didn't like get in the way, so that's good. You never want a secondary character that sort of like infringes upon your gameplay.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's talk about the big twist at the end then.
I mean, what I would be interested to know what you think of it, because I've had like in-depth conversations with people about this already. All right.
So at the end of the game, you find out, because the entire game is around the tears and the timelines and everything like that. But what you find out at the end is that the character you've been playing this entire time is, what is the name of the guy that runs?
Comstock.
Yeah. Comstock and who you are the same people, just from different timelines. And so at near the end, during some of the climactic points as you move up, you actually kill Comstock because he took not Anna. What was her name? Elizabeth, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anna, I think, was your actual daughter that you give to Comstock.
Yes.
So basically, give us the daughter and all debts are forgiven. Happened earlier actually in your life, and you gave your daughter Anna Booker, to Comstock, who had come through from a different dimension because he couldn't have children, and took his own daughter technically, but she was from a different direction, dimension, back into this other universe, and then that was gonna solve all your debt problems in this one, but you didn't really understand that. Mm-hmm. And so you were trying to stop it, and that's how you lost your finger or something?
And that was a scene when he's trying to get the little girl back, and her thumb gets stuck and the portal closes, and that's why she has a thimble on her thumb. That was a moment that I was like, what?
Yeah.
What just happened? What? I got so, like, that was when I was like, I don't even care about playing anymore. I just want to know what happened.
But see, all of that stuff happens, and you still don't know that Comstock and Booker are the same person. Like, you just know that Comstock came through from this other dimension, and now you're in that dimension. And so you're walking through these different you're walking on these paths that are being built in front of you. It's really cool. in this one scene where you can see all of these other like lighthouses, because at the beginning you go onto this lighthouse,
Right.
and you can see these other paths being built for Elizabeth and Booker, who are walking along these paths, and they're like, it's you two walking along in other paths. And it's all going on around you while you're doing it. And I thought that was cool, like visually. I thought it was interesting.
And then when you so basically he ends up, Booker ends like, oh well, I have to kill him. I have to kill him as a baby.
You have to kill Comstock as a baby to stop all of this from happening. And Elizabeth is like, are you sure that that's what you want to do? Do you think that that's the right answer? And you're like, yes. And then you show up in where Booker had gotten, because basically two things happened. There was this point in time in which Booker was going to get baptized, and Booker actually chose not to get baptized. He left. He said no, and he was about to get baptized, and he pushed himself away and ran off. Whereas Comstock embraced the religion and got baptized and became Comstock and built this empire and everything like this. And so there's the big build up to we have to kill Comstock at the point at which he, would be the worst, or whatever, that would stop down this path. And so all of these Elizabeths show up from alternate timelines to basically drown Booker at that moment.
So they kill you.
To kill you. To stop Comstock from coming to existence, which would then stop Elizabeth and all of these other bad things from happening.
And then the game's over.
And the game is over at that point. So my thoughts is, after that happened, like, it was good because the first one I felt like the Would You Kindly, I never thought that was that great. Like, I was like, it's okay, but I didn't ever have a choice. It's not like it was a Would You Kindly go this way, or you can go this way, and I just happened to always be choosing the Would You Kindly way, and then I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's just, you have to do this in order to progress in the game.
Right.
From a storytelling point of view, it's good. From a,
Gameplay.
game, it's like, okay, well, I don't feel like it was that big of a twist.
This didn't feel like a choose your own adventure.
This one was pretty good. Like, I felt actually sort of speechless afterwards. I was like, wow, that was, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice way to tie it all together. And when he went to kill Comstock up in the tower, like, after he took Elizabeth, I was pissed. And so when I got to Comstock, I was like, kill that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was like, kill him. Like, make him dead. And so then when at that point, at the end point,
ladies and gentlemen,
make him dead. At the end point, when we got to that realization, like, I kept thinking, oh, I've got it, I understand it, and then, like, I was like, oh wow, okay, all right, and then I was like, yeah, make him dead. Booker needs to die. Like, it makes sense. I'm like, okay. And at the same time, I was like, that was a great story.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And I think it really, like, sort of took you along on his journey. You know what I mean? And then there was the whole thing with what were the brother and sister that kept showing up?
Yeah.
That was great. Oh, I loved them. So they were so creepy and so weird. Did you get...
I don't know.
Like, when you first go through the gates and they're, like, have the little coin flip thing, and they're, like, creepy and they talk to each other, and that was fantastic. I thought they were a great addition to the game. Just, like, every time they popped up, I'm like, what are they? What's going on?
Yeah.
I want to know.
So, I mean, it was a good game. I still don't think that you needed to spend $60 right out of the gate for it.
I would have. I mean, I didn't, but I would have,
yeah.
Honestly, because I was so psyched for it, to be honest with you, because I like waited a really long time, and then I had to wait until I got an Xbox. But we should probably move on to the next game review.
Yeah, I don't even know what time we started, so.
Not sure. Can we see how long it's been recording?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we can, I'm sure.
Maybe.
While they're checking, I'll glance over here too, but 25-ish minutes, 20-ish, 20 to 25 minutes. I don't know. I think it just counts
frames.
Yeah, frames and kilobytes. Somebody's gonna get mad at me for saying that.
My
anyway,
phone is going off and it
so
could possibly be work. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. I've been playing Ryse for the Xbox One, and I've got an Xbox One. I have bought exactly 0 games for the Xbox One. I've received both games that I own for the Xbox One as I'm sorry's from various companies for certain issues. So
Longtime listeners will recall Justin's plight.
yes, my issues with the
struggle.
day one Xbox, and
Your struggle was real.
this one was an issue with Microsoft and them billing me for stuff, so it was weird. But we got it squared away, and at least they took care of me. So I've been playing Ryse, and Ryse was one of the Xbox One launch titles, which technically anything that came out before March was a launch title, even though Minecraft was supposed to be a launch title for the Xbox One and has yet to come out.
Bring it down a notch.
Sorry.
Minecraft every day.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the Xbox One version of Minecraft because
It's going to be so much better.
It's going to be so much better.
It's just like the next version of Call of Duty.
I feel like we need like a snark detector, like in here, like.
No,
like,
not with James. It's always.
Just always at full.
Just expect it.
I shouldn't try and bend that way today.
But yes, so I've been playing Ryse. This is the one where you play as a Roman soldier. Later, I think you become a general and everything. The story starts off at the beginning. It's one of those where it's the end, but then you're like telling a story, and as you're telling that story,
I think the second Dragon Age was kind of like that.
Yeah. So you're telling the story.
Side note, sorry.
I don't know what you're saying. So
I said I just started playing that.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So you're telling the story. You're playing through it. It's a pretty game. It looks really nice. I'd like to. I'll try to have some videos up for you guys. So I'll take a look at both of the games that we're talking about. Hopefully on the vidcast. But it's pretty. It looks nice. It really shows off some of the nice potential of the Xbox One. It utilizes a lot of the new sorts of ways that the Xbox One is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the better graphics, some of the integration with your smartphones and things like that, which is a lot of fun. I don't know on Ryse, but on like other games, like you can get a mini map on your smartphone while you're playing the game, so you can actually access that. But unfortunately, there's the ongoing problem that I feel with all of the Xbox One games, aside from the fact that when you put it in, you have to wait like 12 hours for it to install the stupid game before you can actually play it, which drives me crazy. So I'm like, at least this time I knew, and so I was like, well, I want to play this tonight, so I'll put it in this morning and let it start installing so that I can play it later tonight, which is a terrible way to have to,
Is part of that it downloading stuff?
No,
or is it all from the
it
disk?
installs it onto the hard drive.
That's excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, for
I think it does
anything.
it for loading speeds and things like that, because I think
But 12 hours?
Well, I don't think it's 12 hours.
Wow.
I'm hyperbole, I think, to a certain extent.
Well, how long is it?
Longer than it needs to be, like 30 or 40 minutes.
Well, that's a totally different thing for someone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
30, 40 minutes
Yeah.
is, I'm going to load this. I'm going to go make something to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I
I was
mean?
gonna say 12 hours is like.
Well, hyperbole. I'm sorry. It's not actually 12 hours. It's like 30 to 40 minutes. It takes long enough that it's like when we were waiting to download Neverwinter the other night.
When you're waiting for you.
Oh, damn.
Detective. Like,
Mine downloaded faster.
Sorry, my internet isn't as awesome as his. Anyway, Ryse. So, aside from those types of things, the game it's good. It's got great graphics. The gameplay is pretty standard for like a third-person action adventure sort of game. If you played any of the not like Diablo or anything like that are like those platforming action adventure games, it's more like, and I can't remember any of the games right now, so this is terrible. But Dante's Inferno was one of those types of games where it's more hack and slash type thing. God of War for the PlayStation. There are button events where you have to press certain buttons in a certain order in order to get to rack up kills and everything.
Defeat a boss, whatever.
Yeah. The nice thing about this one is that the fighting is relatively fluid. It feels natural. Sometimes it's difficult to make sure that you're hitting the right button, But if you're in like a situation in which you're actually killing somebody with one of these special attacks where you have to hit a button, if you don't hit the right button, it doesn't like end the attack or anything. You still make the attack and continue attacking. You just don't get as many points, and the points you can use to purchase better things for your character. Because the gameplay, the actual story, is not that long. The game is only like 2 to 3 hours long. It's really pretty short. Yeah, but there's a lot of online. There's a lot more like multiplayer like content where you kind of like how Gears of War has I can't think of the thing.
Horde mode.
Horde mode. Thank you. Good thing somebody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, Gears of War has Horde mode. Call of Duty has lots of online stuff. I mean, the games are really about that multiplayer experience and less about the actual story. Gears of War didn't start that way. It's gotten that way. It's over time. You know, the most recent one, Judgment, was basically, that's all it was multiplayer experience. It's kind of...
And really, getting back to Call of Duty, I thought Call of Duty was all about making you spend $60 twice a year.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah.
And that one too, like I know that there's like a story mode, but I don't really know anybody that actually.
What, Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my son's played through it a bunch of times, but it's a standard first-person shooter, you know, next generation warrior type story. You have a gun. There is some sort of reason why you have to shoot the person in front of you, and I mean, when you break down all first-person shooters, I guess that's really all of the story is. But there are good games that are first-person shooters that have engaging stories. You know, the original Halo had a nice engaging story, and it's kind of gotten a little wishy-washy later on. The most recent Halo was pretty good. Halo 4 was nice for the story, but yeah, I mean,
there was one like Halo edition that came out. It was like some sort of like side game that they did where Nathan Fillion voiced one of the guys. That one was good. I remember.
Yeah, that was ODST.
There we go. Yeah, that one was fun.
That's Orbital Dropship Trooper or something like that. It was good, and that one was a break from the regular Halo experience, because it was you were in this city. There were roving bands of bad guys that you had to either avoid or fight or whatever, and you had to get to these different areas of the city, and you could play these different events in different orders.
Yeah, and that one was fun.
It was nice, and it really added to the like environment. But yeah, I mean, you can make good first person shooters, and them be engaging.
But that's not really Call of Duty's aim either. They have their audience. They know.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, the company that makes Assassin's Creed and like the company that does Call of Duty has basically said, you know, we don't need to make these games twice a year, but as long as our customers want these games twice a year, then we will make these games this often. Or in Assassin's Creed's case, it's every year. Which, by the way, I wanted to bring up, there's another Assassin's Creed coming out called Unity, or at least there's, you know, these rumors that they've just started talking about. And some of the rumors that have been circulating is that this one is going to be like, it's supposed to be a like 3-4 player co-op experience. Like the entire game is made to be a co-op game.
Right.
Which is kind of cool, because some of the most recent Assassin's Creed, like you've been able to like control bands of assassins, like you could call in attacks and things like that, which was cool, but it would be a lot of fun to play with other people where you're sneaking into places and assassinating people, and that looks cool. So I'm getting excited about that. They said they're going to talk about it a little bit more at E3, which is in June, which we're going to talk about at the end of June. So all in all, Ryse is a good game. It's fun to play through. I would not spend more than $20 for it. Really. I mean, being that, first of all, it came out in November when the game launched, when the system launched. Xbox One, and I still stand by this, it's a fanboy system. It's got some cool features. Until they get some good games, until they get a bigger selection of games, don't waste your money on it. Really don't. Like, I'm glad I purchased it because I am an Xbox fanboy. But you don't need it. You really don't. Like most of the games, Titanfall that just came out for One is also just came out for the 360. Didn't come out at the same time. You did have to wait a little bit longer for it, and it's not going to be as good a graphics or anything.
Right.
But I mean, that's like a huge price to pay for better graphics and sooner release dates.
and there are some games that are exclusive to the next gen of consoles, but that's because those games demand more
Yeah.
than what the current gen can actually give.
And we'll be seeing more and more of that as time goes on. We'll be seeing more and more next gen games. We'll be seeing more and more exclusive next gen games. And like there'll come a point where it will be worth it to buy the Xbox One,
Right.
but I don't think that point has yet happened for people who are not really serious
Right.
gamers.
The earliest it's going to be probably is this November. The earliest, I'm sure, a year.
And-
I would almost say a year from now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, 'cause
so
I think-
like April time.
Yeah.
Next year.
Like for me, like I don't have a lot of time to game. Like I love gaming, but I just don't have the time to game most of the time. And like for me, it's gonna be a long time before it is worth it to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I'm so I mean, if you haven't got an Xbox One, unless you're like drooling and absolutely have to have it, which I would venture to guess you already own it, then I wouldn't even waste the time at this point. There's a lot of great games that are still for the 360, and as I've been experiencing over the last 6 months, there's a lot of great games for your computer, like Steam. I've ever since I downloaded Steam and realized that my laptop is relatively okay at gaming, I've been playing a lot more on my computer. A lot more.
And they have a lot of free options too, which is nice.
Yeah. But we'll be hearing from you on Elder Scrolls, which I'm excited about eventually. Not today. So.
Probably this time next month. I probably have been able to play enough of it.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
actually
So
be
the
able
end of
to
May, that'll work pretty
give
well.
some sort of review. I got to try to find a guild that's not a bunch of d-bags.
Nice.
It's an MMO.
Yeah.
that's never gonna happen.
That's why I'm always worried about playing MMOs.
Oh, I'll just
All the
quit.
D-bags?
Well, yeah.
I'll just quit my guild and find another one if they're awful people. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
Fair enough.
I just want someone who'll help me learn the game a little bit and some people to play with. And
Yeah, that's one thing. The game we were playing the other night, which is free on Steam.
no more room in hell.
No More Room in Hell. Yeah. All of the people I've met on there are nice. I mean, they're helpful. They'll, it's not like, dude, you don't know how to reload your gun. I'm like, no, I don't know what button I need to press on my computer to reload the gun. Yes. The game's a little repetitive. But it's good, and it'll run on most systems too. That's what's nice. It's pretty. It's not a processor hog or anything. Do you want to hit Easter real quick, and then
Sure.
we'll wrap it up in just 5-10 minutes at the most. So,
Yeah.
So Easter was just this last week. My store is open on Easter.
Yep.
You guys are open
We
on
had
Easter?
2 shows.
Yep.
You guys are open on Easter. So, what was your Easters like? Or what do you do for Easter at all? Anything?
When not forced to, I spend it with when I'm not forced to work, I spend it with my family.
I'm really glad you rephrased that.
So,
'Cause
like,
that-
my mom was nice enough. My mom normally wakes up at like 4 in the morning, and she stayed up till like I got there at like 7:30, just to so I could microwave some Easter dinner and get my little Easter basket of miscellaneous stuff. So normally that's what I do. We all meet together. We have dinner. Little silly Easter basket. Spend some time. Go home.
Yeah.
But no, this year had to work. Luckily, I was able to get some of my people off. Not many. It was busy enough shows that I need to have some of them there. Most of them there. I don't know. Easter's a weird holiday. I think it's more about family than all this other weird stuff that seems to always get injected into it.
Yeah.
It's one of those days where I think everything should be closed.
Yeah.
For me, I don't really think so. Because, I mean, the thing is, though, like, I live really far away from my family. But I feel like if you're not a kid and you're not religious, Easter is, like, that was just another day for me. Like, I worked a double. I picked it up. I was at work all day. Then I went home and, like, I think I went to a bar that night or something. Like, hung out with some people. Like, it was not a holiday at all for me. And if everything had been closed, I probably would have been pretty annoyed because...
Yeah, I just think it's nice if there's a couple days in the year where it's actually a possibility for an entire family to get together or friends or whatever, where everything is actually closed.
I agree. But I guess, I don't know. For me, Easter was never a big deal growing up either, though. So
Yeah.
Easter is sort of a throwaway holiday to me. And
Well-
like, oh yeah, it's that day.
Maybe as kind of a split the difference. Like, Easter was kind of big as I was growing up. I mean, I grew up in a Christian home, so Easter is synonymous a lot of times, especially in our culture, with Jesus and dying on the cross and coming back and all that kinds of stuff. Good Friday and such. My wife and I got a weekend without the kids because my grandparents took them for the weekend. So that was nice. I mean, I had to work on Saturday and Friday and Saturday, but it was nice because we didn't have them necessarily Saturday night. We didn't, we went out and had dinner with them on Sunday. I like excuses to kind of be with family from time to time, even if by be with family it's sit in the room and we watch something on TV. Like lately it's been Frozen because that's what the kids love to watch.
That's what every kid in the country is watching right now, like nonstop.
Yeah, and Let It Go.
I've only seen like bits and pieces of it, but I know all of my friends who have kids are like, we watched Frozen again.
Yeah. Well, I watched it for the first time with my daughter and I liked it. It was good. It was a cute little story. I'm disappointed some of the directions that Disney went with some of the characters, but that's just me personally. But anyway, so we spent some time with family. I think Easter might have been a little bigger this year than it has been in the past because it was so late and because we've had such an awful spring. Like this spring has been so cold and so snowy that people are really ready for like summer to get here, and so like they're kind of like trying to throw their money at the weather by like buying more stuff for Easter. Like, oh, if I just buy more eggs or if I just buy more grass for the basket, the weather will get better.
I'm willing it to be so.
Exactly. So I know
it was pretty nice yesterday.
It was. Yeah.
So maybe it's working.
It was really nice on Sunday. Actually, on Easter Day, it was really nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know because I have kids. The thing that always worries me, I don't mind if they like go to church and everything like that. It really doesn't bother me. For those who don't know, I'm an atheist. My wife is an atheist. I was raised as a Christian for a long time, and so when I think of Easter and I think of the story that is synonymous with Easter, I always think about. It's difficult for any church to tell that story without trying to say, Jesus did this thing, he died for your sins because you have sins. And so I'm always really concerned because there are, like, I don't mind, you want to take my kids to your church or whatever, that's fine. The only thing if your church is telling them that if you're telling my kids that they're going to hell, if you tell my kids that they're sinners or that there's something wrong with them and they can only be saved through this, then we're going to have a discussion about that because you can't talk to my kids like that. No. So, so I'm always nervous about that. Normally, they don't talk that, the church that they go to, that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm not too concerned about it. But, go ahead. You want to tell them your stories. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I always get nervous about around Easter.
Yeah.
So.
My friend's mom does buy me an Easter bunny every year, though, since I moved here to Illinois, so that's pretty cool.
Like a chocolate Easter bunny? Okay.
Yeah, like a chocolate.
Here's your Easter bunny.
No, an actual bunny. No. Like, he was like, no. No.
I do like chocolate, so I always just wait until it's clearance after.
There was, like, so much Easter candy at work, and I was like, no. I see you over there, and I'm not going to eat you. It's not going to happen. No.
So let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah.
I've got one real quick thing. I want to apologize to Yazzie. She was the one who had brought up the couple episodes ago when we did the sex episode. Yeah, exactly.
I missed something there.
Watch the video.
Damn.
She had brought up that topic as something. She was actually she lives in Norway, but she was out of her country at that time. So I hadn't invited her to be on the show. So we will have to have her on in the future as a guest, specifically for like another sex show.
Gotcha.
Because she really wanted to talk about it. So I am sorry, Yazzie. I will try to be a better friend in the future. So there you go. And other than that, thank you all the people who help. And happy Earth Day and happy Easter if you celebrate. And thanks. We will see you all next week.
Bye.
Oh, and I don't have any of the music ready to go, so, hurry. Vamp, everyone. Vamp.
Justin never has the music ready to go.